Well, so they had some kind of conversation during the classroom, and the guy standing holding the two devices is actually he is a user, and there is some operator to giving some kind of queuing to the system is working corresponding to the users asking or the some verbal interaction with the verbal student. So they are doing this kind of classroom scenarios, and also the user can walk around in the classroom, so they can. Yes, and so this experience is realistic. They're like a real get into the classroom, and if the back of the student, each student has their own profiles, the family background and what kind of motivational interest or the academic performance or something like that. So it is trying to giving more realistic kind of combinations for the student. This one is older version. Right now we had the bigger classroom in a virtually and with the 16 student and a totally different outfit and having their own profiles. And so that was also very important factors for the teacher educations to train how to use the kind of the simulation. And also this one is like a parents count simulations. And just imagine that when first year the teachers just they got a job in the middle school, the high school, or the elementary school when they got a call from the parents. Well, I'm not sure about the how or what kind of curriculum you have in Malaysia for the teacher training, but in Korea, we don't have any the parents counseling program during their pre-service course. Well, maybe in-service training, they had some kind of workshops for the in-service teachers, but that was not quite activated activities for the teachers. And so that one is like also pretty much similar, the interaction just you saw in my previous slide. And so just a little bit. Something like that. So in this scenario, the major key point is like usually the parents, particularly having their child has the problem in school, they not accepting tend to not accepting teacher's guidance. Well, teacher is trying to giving some kind of a warning or some kind of pedagogical guidance. So it's like, well, your kids had this such and such and kind of problems, but the from the parents' perspective is not willingly to accept the teacher's guidance. So that was the purpose of this parents counseling, is to giving some kind of how we need to deal with the parents, some type of resistance when we giving some kind of pedagogical guidance to the family. So that was the purpose of this, the one module of the sim teacher. So that was the one example. Because of the time, I tried to the children the rest of the slide. The medical training, as I told you, like a virtual patient. That was there. There is you may know about the standardized patient. It was like human actors. They are doing some kind of actings for the medical student to practice their diagnostic skills of just like not going to realistic clinical the case, but each standardized the patient, they know what kind of symptom, what kind of disease they have, and so they are acting something like that. However, sometimes that was not possible for the standardized patient. Something like if they had some kind of eye crossover like symptoms, that was not verbally can do that kind of things for the medical student. So this application is to giving try to make that Okay, make that. So you try the grab prism that will measure the degree of crossover strabismus, the symptoms, how much that was the easy, that was the worst or not, something like that. And so that was the one example. That and this one, uh, the post and they usually because we tend to believe giving some haptic experience is very good for the student, but sometimes it's not because the haptic experience, our body is 100 synchronized as we feel psychology. It was like a perceptionally, and while we feel like how much we stretch out our body, so physically. So that was the 100% synchronized already. However, when we try to transform that kind of ordinary normal life in a virtually, there might be some kind of perceptual gap can be happen, particularly if that learning environment is the some special 3D environment is very different perspective. We design some kind of a learning content on a two-dimensional. So that was some kind of a special perception and depth perception, something like that. So that was the one examples of my labs working, and that was the latest version of the eye doctor's simulation. So this the virtual patient is called the SEA. That was the one very typical the female name in Korean, and so but the SEA this stands for the strabismus simulation avatar humanoid or something like that. Okay, and also we have a Danbi. Danbi is a dental avatar for the narrative verbal interaction, and Danbi is like a first comer to the dentist. Well, also the dental field had a great attention to like what kind of impression to the first comer, to the first to come patient. If that was so bad, probably it was like a lifetime ongoing like a stress to going to the dentist or the dental hospital, something like that. So they're really concerned about how we can practice the medical students to handle with the first come very little and young child patient, something like that. But the problem is they are not quite communicative. I mean, they are not well. They cannot do well to express their intention or something like that. So it also is very difficult to giving some opportunity for the medical students to practice with that type of first to come patient because they are so young and we cannot ask somebody to do kind of a work as a first comer. So that was also the pretty much fit in to the using this type of virtual simulation. As I told you, why I am starting to think about to build this kind of simulations for the pre-service teachers, because we cannot have enough experience before getting to the real world. So also Danby has pretty much the similar the reasons or some kind of a needs to develop for it. So that was the one applications my lab is working on. And okay, I would like to skip this one, and also I'd like to skip this one. Well, the learning companion is a still ongoing project, and what I'm trying to do is like a learning companion, the small like a graphical the robots. The role of a robot is not giving direct instruction from the teacher. Well, so as I told you in the earlier my presentation, I told you when we think about the online content or when we think about like this type of a virtual conference or something like that, then we think about how we can giving easiest way for my student to better understanding of what I am talking to them. So with that perspective, what we tend to do is like how we can make this learning content well designed. However, sometimes the problem is not from the learning content. The major problem, at least from this perspective, we are failing to increase learners' motivation to engage to the learning situations. So the learning companion, it was the developing idea right now. And what I'm thinking, probably just imagine that if you have any a dog or the cat in your house, well, nobody asks us like, well, you love your dog, but we like them. We are really happy with them because I just like him or I just like them, something like that. So maybe learning companion giving that kind of some um, like unseen intention to persuade our learners to get into the learning content. So that was the ideas. So that was this type of 4 steps of the engagement and giving some kind of a social cues and social response. And that was the get into the engagement for the learners. And finally, the learners can increase the learning experience but with that learning companion. So this one is pretty much a simple, like a facial expression of the learning companion. That was the like on screenshot. So, well, actually, those two, the text is almost the same. However, that left side one, it was a smiling face. That was the other one is angry face. So I didn't give any like other chewing, only giving giving different facial expressions on it. But surprisingly, when we're giving that kind of smiling face, the student motivational level or the confidence level is significantly higher than with that angry face. So maybe that kind of emotional companion, like type of the instruction strategy, could be good. Well, just imagine that probably almost most teachers in this area in this time across all the world, the teachers in a great suffering time. We can help our students to increase their engagement. Well, in fact, in Korea, we had some kind of analysis. The preliminary the analysis report is just starting to coming out, saying like this year's the student academic level is dramatically decreasing, and there the basic skills and competence level is also decreasing. Well, and as we can expect, the reason is pretty much clear, like a lower interaction with the teacher. The student may not be easy to concentrate on their learning content or something like that. So maybe this type of a little bit unseen the content like interaction with the students and maybe another the approach to solve this our problem these areas this time. Well, that was the experimental setting, the scene. And that was the, okay, I would like to skip. Okay, so that is my presentations.